from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. Welcome to the National News broadcast coming to you live from the National News Studio here at Rupavahini. I'm Kasmi Balachandra and joining me is Tilina Udayaratna. We start off with a quick look at the headlines.
The subject minister says that sufficient fuel stocks of all varieties are at stores and filling stations. The Litro Gas Company guarantees to provide solutions to the gas shortage within the next few days. The president says Sri Lanka can be made the Asian destination for tourists. The central bank says that the local banking system is stable. Minister Mahindanand Alutgamage discloses that a group of Samagi Janabalawegaya parliamentarians will join the United National Party. The president of Ukraine requests to organize global protests against the invasion of his country.
Now, in your local stories tonight, we still see some queues in and around fuel stations due to the shortage of fuel. And at a media briefing held in Colombo today, Minister Gamini Lokuge has stated that there's enough fuel stocks in the country.
Minister Gamini Lokuge says that there are sufficient stocks of fuel at storage complexes and filling stations. He mentioned this while during a media briefing in Colombo about the distribution of fuel. He said that another petrol ship was unloading in Muthurajavela last night. Another diesel ship has arrived today, while another ship from India will arrive on the 1st of April. There will be sufficient fuel stocks at storage complexes and filling stations by the festive season. Usually 7,000 metric tons of diesel, super diesel and petrol were distributed daily. But now 8,500 metric tons are being distributed on a daily basis. Fuel stocks are being distributed continuously from the Kolonnawa storage complex. The Litro Gas Company says it releases 120,000 gas cylinders daily to the market. The company said there are 3,000 to 3,500 metric tons of gas on board a ship that is arriving in the country. The company said that the gas shortage could end within the next few days. Meanwhile, a power cut of 4.5 hours has been imposed tomorrow morning in the areas concerning P, Q, R, S, T, U, V and W zones. Another power cut of 1 hour and 50 minutes will be imposed in those zones in the night. A power cut will be imposed in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K and L zones for 3 hours and 20 minutes tomorrow morning, while another power cut of 1 hour and 40 minutes will be imposed on those same areas in the night.
Now, the Minister of Finance says that Sri Lanka's banking system is stable. It has been confirmed by the central bank as well. Issuing a statement, Sri Lanka Central Bank and the Finance Ministry have said that the local banking system is operating smoothly. The joint statement has said that they would like to inform the public and other relevant stakeholders that the state banking operations are stable. It has said they reject the negative reports about the matter.
Well, in other news, offering of the scroll to the new Mahanayaka of the Ramanya Mahanikaya, Most Venerable Makulave Vimalathera, took place at the Colombo Independence Square this afternoon. It took place under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. The Mahanayaka of the Ramanya Mahanikaya, Most Venerable Makulave Vimalathera, arrived at the Independence Square in a special motorcade. Ramanya Nikaya completes 159 years by now, and Venerable Makulave Vimalathera is the 14th Mahanayaka of the chapter. Anunayaka of the Ramanya Nikaya, Venerable Galhitiagama Vimaladhammathera, made the gathering observe the 5 precepts. Floral tributes were paid to the Most Venerable Ambagahavatte Indra Sabbabara Jnana Swami Thera, who was instrumental in commencing the Ramanya Nikaya 159 years ago. The President offered the scroll to Venerable Makulave Vimala Mahanayaka Thera. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa presented the Vijinipata to the Thera. Former President Maithripala Sirisena and opposition leader Sajith Premadasa made offerings to the Mahanayaka Thera as well. Thereafter, a book written on the Mahanayaka Thera was presented to him by the authors. State Minister Lasantha Alageyawanna handed over the copies of the book to the President and the invitees. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that the knowledge of Mahanayaka Theras is an example to the present Buddhist monks. The history of the country shows that Buddhist monks have made unlimited sacrifices for the country and its people. Even today, Buddhist priests are following the path of the Buddhist monks amidst challenges. The in-depth knowledge of the Mahanayaka Theras is a blessing to the country. The government protects the Sasana and commits itself for the propagation as its main duty by society. Mahanayaka of the Ramanya Mahanikaya
ප්‍රබෝධය වෙනුවෙන් කැපවෙන්නේ සමාජය වෙනුවෙන් විය යුතු ප්‍රධාන වගකීමක් ඉටු කිරීමක් හැටියටයි.
Mahanayaka of the Ramanya Mahanikaya, Most Venerable Makulayave Vimalathera said that the duty of the Mahasangha is to advise the President and Prime Minister while showing any shortcomings to rectify and protect them. It is important for others to give their support to the President and Prime Minister to take forward the country by overcoming the present situation without getting into arguments at a difficult moment such as this. A group of people, including the Mahasangha of the 3 chapters, parliamentarians, ambassadors and state officials, were present on the occasion.
Interstate Employees Creations Competition 2021 award ceremony took place yesterday under the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at the PMICH in Colombo. The aim is to enhance creative abilities of the state employees, recognizing and giving the opportunity to introduce the creations. Another aim is to promote cultural activities of state institutions. The award ceremony has been organized on the instructions of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and by the Ministry of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs. Competitions were conducted in Sinhala and Tamil languages, covering children's stories, poetry, songs, arts, short stories, short films, photographs and short dramas. The creations of the Sinhala section, which won at the competition, were presented to the Prime Minister by the Ministry Secretary, Professor Kapila Gunawardana. The Prime Minister presented awards to the Best Drama, Best Actor and Best Actress of Sinhala and Tamil medium short dramas. State Minister Vidura Vikramanayake and a group of people attended the ceremony. The National Logistics Award Ceremony 2022 was held under the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa in Colombo yesterday. With the aim of recognizing stakeholders in the local goods supply sector, it has been organized by Sri Lanka Logistics and International Goods Transporters Association. 40 awards were presented under 6 main categories. The Prime Minister presented Legends of Logistics Awards to Mohan Panditage, Rohan De Silva and many others. Now moving on to foreign news momentarily. The crisis between Ukraine and Russia hits 1 month today, and both countries have been facing many consequences due to this conflict.
Absolutely, Kasuni. I mean, if you look at the footage, there seems to be the situation in Ukraine doesn't seem to be getting any better, and President Volodymyr Zelensky has in fact requested the people and has urged the international community to engage and help him by engaging in protests against the massacre that is created by the Russian Federation. Zelensky said the international community should raise their voice against the Russian government. The US president has arrived to attend the special NATO summit in Brussels. Several world leaders are scheduled to attend the summit, where several decisions about the Ukrainian crisis are to be taken. President Biden has decided to impose more sanctions on Russia. The Ukraine president has requested NATO to increase humanitarian aid and to take fruitful decisions about his country. A special session was planned by the European Commission about the war. The US has charged that the Russian military is committing war crimes in Ukraine. Secretary General of the NATO said that more forces will be stationed in Slovakia, Hungary, Bulgaria and Romania.
An all-party conference was held yesterday to find solutions to the present problems in the country. Taking part in the conference, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that the conference is held without any political intentions. We now bring you more aspects of the conference.
විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ සමුළුව කැඳවන්නේ අවංක ප්‍රයත්නයක් ලෙස අද රටක් වශයෙන් අපි මුහුණ පාලා තිබෙන විවිධ ගැටලුවලට කෙටිකාලීන සහ දිගුකාලීන විසඳුම් සොයන්නට.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that the conference would become especially important as an effort to find short and long-term solutions to the problems we are facing as a country. President also said that this is not a political maneuvering. He also said that he considers it as a responsibility of all parties, whether government or opposition, to find solutions to the problems faced by the country today. He has also requested the parties which are not attending the conference to join them later on to discuss and find short and long-term measures to bring the country forward.
මම අවංකවම මුන්නාන්සලාගෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා ඉදිරියේදී එක්ව කටයුතු කරලා අපි මේ ප්‍රශ්න වලට විසඳුම් සොයමු කියන එක.
ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ අද පවතින විදේශ ණය අර්බුදයට මූලික හේතුවක් ලෙස අපි දකින්නේ රටේ විදේශීය ණයබරතාවය 2015 සිට 2019 දක්වා අවුරුදු 5 කාලය තුලදී ඉතා ශීඝ්‍ර ලෙස වැඩි වීමයි.
Governor of the Central Bank, Ajit Niwad Cabral, said that they view the debt burden as the main reason for the existing problem, which has escalated rapidly within the 5-year period from 2015 to 2019. Within these 5 years, foreign debt has increased from $23 billion to $38.7 billion by a margin of 65%. He added that the international sovereign bonds and commercial debt increased from $5 billion to $15 billion by 200%. However, the country's gross national product has increased to $84 billion from $79.4 billion by a margin of only 5.8%. This massive incompatibility had made it a big challenge to repay an amount of $6 billion as state debt service from 2019 onwards. He has also recalled that in the year 2014, only $2 billion were needed for debt repayment. The insignificant growth in the economy since 2019 had made it extremely difficult to face the challenge. That the rate of economic collapse was aggravated by the end of 2020, with the gross national product declining to $81 billion.
2020 අගවන විට දළ දේශීය නිෂ්පාදිත ඇමරිකානු ඩොලර් බිලියන 81 දක්වා අඩුවීමෙන් මෙම තත්ත්වය තවදුරටත් අසීරු මට්ටමකට පත් වුණා.
මෙවර උත්සව සමය සැමරීම පිළිබඳව විශ්වාසයකින් ජනතාව සිටියද
Former President Parliamentarian Maithripala Sirisena said that the people of the country may be deprived of the opportunities of celebrating the upcoming festival due to the economic decline. He has also reiterated that the government should take special measures to provide maximum relief to the masses, especially during the New Year season.
අපගේ අදහසයි.
මම හිතන්නේ මේ වෙලාවේ ඉඩකඩ තිබෙන්නේ විකල්ප විසඳුමකට. සම්ප්‍රදායික විසඳුමකින් මේකට උත්තර හොයන්න බෑ.
Parliamentarian Venerable Athurali Ratanathera said that he believes that there's room only for an alternate solution and the problem may not be resolved through traditional strategies. The main challenge is to win the confidence of the people. A scientific transparency on the plans, vision and future action should be straightened going before the International Monetary Fund.
කෙටි කාලෙම අපි එක්ව ආර්ථිකය ස්ථාවර කිරීමට කටයුතු කළ යුතුයි. එසේ නොවුනොත් රට ගැන ජනතාවට තිබෙන විශ්වාසය නැති වෙනවා.
Parliamentarian and former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that they must join hands at least on short-term basis to stabilize the economy. If we fail, the people will lose confidence on the future of the country. He further said that there are officials in the Central Bank and the Ministry of Finance who are able to deal with the International Monetary Fund. However, nobody is able to restructure the debt. The parliamentarian also said Sri Lanka must make use of the services of two prominent companies which are able to provide professional and legal knowledge in these issues. Sri Lanka must also get hold of the services of financial analysts. The government must also pledge to create a safety web for banks. The budget for year 2022 has been prepared prior to the emergence of the crisis. Therefore, there is no relationship between this budget and the problem. He added that we are going to draft a new budget. Only the essential expenditure should be included. Ranil Wickremesinghe further said that he believes that 50% of the population have to be provided with relief.
When Sri Lanka attained independence, about the same time, Singapore attained independence. Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew said he wanted to develop Singapore the way that Sri Lanka was developing. Where is Singapore today? Where are we today? Why did that happen?
Excellency, I think we ought to have had more time to discuss some of the proposals that were made. Unfortunately, it may not be possible to do that today. I'm saying that because, as has been stated, there is an urgent situation to stabilize that requires stabilization of the economy.
අද ඉදිරිපත් කරපු කාරණා පිළිබඳව රජයක් හැටියට ඉදිරි කාලයේදී ඔබතුමාලා එක්ක සාකච්ඡා කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Minister Basil Rajapaksa said that they are hoping to conduct further talks on the facts presented today. The minister said that they realize the tremendous difficulties being experienced by the people at present. He also said the President and Minister Bandula Gunawardena are taking measures to provide relief to the masses prior to the Sinhala New Year. He added that the problems including fuel and gas have arisen as a result of the dollar problem. He further said that the President, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet of Ministers are ready to look into all proposals presented to resolve the current crisis.
ඇත්තටම මේ ඔබ දීපු යෝජනා ඉතාම අගය කරනවා. ඒවා සියල්ලක්ම එකින් එක සලකා බැලීමට ගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමා අගමැතිතුමා අමාත්‍ය මණ්ඩලය සූදානම් බව ඉතරක් කියනවා.
Well, Minister Kehelia Ramukwella says that the present problems in the country are not limited only to a specific community or political party. Future steps would be taken while considering the proposals presented yesterday at the all-party conference.
The all-party conference, in our view, it was a very successful meeting, although there were certain debates of few areas. Idea was that it is a fact that we are having a foreign currency crunch and an overall economic issue. So therefore it is best for us to have views of all parties concerned, represented in Parliament, and also to move forward taking whatever the suggestions that may from time to time. And I believe this all-party conference will have some subcommittees, and then also we will discuss matters concerning the economy. Of course, we welcome assistance from all parties because the problem is going to be for all citizens, not a particular party or a community or to be connected to every citizens equally. At this point of time, we feel that with regard to the petroleum issue, I think the Honourable Minister has made a statement saying that it is the next 2 weeks that we should be able to see an end to it. That the general requirement of gasoline is around 5,500 tons a day. But right now it goes up to 8,000 tons, which means there's about 2,500, 3,000 tons usually will not be used. I think one of the reasons for queues is that now say we all experience that. You know, I mean, a person who gets 25 liters goes for a tankful. Not only tankful, they also bring containers. Outstation, I think the problem is not that great, but it is in the city that you experience this. Gas issue is that you know the prices have sort of skyrocketed, and we need to revisit the pricing or the tariff. When people, moment you get that information out, people feel that even if you buy one cylinder, you might save something. So they all flock to the less. And that also have resulted this, but I think within the next 2 weeks we hope that we believe that things might become normal. Now we have decided to go to IMF. We are looking for they have done the draft. Yesterday this was discussed. So once we have the final report, it will be brought before the Parliament. We're looking at multi ways for handling this issue. I don't think you can go one direction. IMF would be one source of discussion and to see how we could get out of this situation. We have about 5.5 billion to be paid within the year. That as to how we tackle that situation. We are also looking at other countries where we have facilities given extended, like Japan, Gulf area, and also China. Rescheduling is one option which is not looked at very favorably, but instead you could sort of obtain another facility to set off this and to go as a fresh and then extend this period of repayment in some form or the other. These are the basic things. All these, whatever the difficulties that we are facing as a government, as a party, we are confident that things will settle down and we will be able to hold our groups together.
And in more local stories, the value-added tax amendment draft bill was passed in Parliament today without a vote.
Meanwhile, Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage said in Parliament today that a group of Samagi Jana Balawegaya parliamentarians are holding discussions to join Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe. Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage said that a group of members are scheduled to join Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, leaving opposition leader Sajith Premadasa. In about another 2 months, by now, 10 persons had already had discussions with Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe's group.
The 144th Inter-Parliamentary Association session is taking place in Bali, Indonesia. Speaker Mahinda Apabewardena and Minister Dallas Alahaperuma are attending the session representing Sri Lanka. The session, which commenced on the 20th, will be held until tomorrow. Speaker Mahinda Apabewardena will deliver the keynote address. Minister Dallas Alahaperuma is scheduled to take part in committee discussions on democracy and human rights, global peace and security. MPs Govinda Jayawardena, Shankyan Razamanikam, Rajika Wickremesinghe and Secretary General of Parliament Dhammika Dasanayaka are members of the Sri Lanka delegation.
Inventors have paid their attention on introducing methodologies to operate vehicles without fuel. The Electronic Engineering Department of the Engineering Faculty of the Peradeniya University have successfully experimented with such a method. A team including Professors Janaka Ekanayaka and Lilantha Samarnayaka of the Peradeniya University have produced an electronic three-wheeler which can be run without fuel. The three-wheeler can be operated by a battery charged with solar power. It has the speed and other facilities of a usual three-wheeler but without an engine. Professor Lilantha Samarnayaka said it can travel about 60 kilometers at a speed of 80 miles per hour after charging the battery once. The battery can be removed and replaced with a charged battery, saving the time to charge the battery.
Now, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa made an inspection tour of Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority today. The President was warmly welcomed by the employees and he had a cordial discussion with them. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa pointed out that Sri Lanka can be made the Asian destination for tourists and plans should be made to attract tourists through global promotional programs. The Tourism Development Authority is empowered to monitor all sectors related to the industry, including tourist arrivals, planning guest houses and residential facilities, registration and categorization of tourism organizations and issuing permits. The government aims to bring down 1.3 million tourists this year. It also aims to earn annually $10 billion through the industry. The President inspected Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau, Hotel Management and Training Institute and Conference Bureau and commended the staff for their commitment to promote the industry. A group of people, including Minister Prasanna Ranatunga, were present on the occasion.
Deputy Director General of Health Services Dr. Hemantha Herath says that those with tuberculosis should obtain appropriate treatment for symptoms. He continued that all should be vaccinated to adhere all health guidelines without fear that the vaccine would exacerbate pre-existing symptoms. He made these remarks while speaking to the media today.
Today is 24th of March and we are commemorating the World TB Day. Tuberculosis or TB is a major communicable disease in Sri Lanka. Number of cases reported in Sri Lanka is around 8,000 a year, and this is only second to dengue in the routine number of all the communicable diseases we are talking about. And also the deadliest disease where 500 deaths are reported due to tuberculosis. Not only that, it has very severe social and economic implications of this disease because of the chronic nature of the disease. Therefore, you are requested to get the treatment early if you have contracted the disease. For which you have to do is, if you are suffering from any chronic illness, including long-standing fever, cough or any other breathing related difficulties, always inform or consult a medical doctor and then get their advice. There are chest clinics all over the country. There are 26 chest clinics in each district, and also the respiratory physicians are there in all major hospitals. So their support can be obtained, and you are supposed to go to the OPD and tell your problem, and they will take the appropriate action.
Well, while the economic crisis over the world exists, COVID-19 seems to be impacting quite a few countries, including the UK, especially on a large scale, with COVID-19 impacting the National Health Service.
The NHS is coming under significant pressure amid a rise in COVID cases in virtually every area of England. The Chief Medical Officer has warned with hospitalizations likely to continue increasing at least until April. However, while there was an urgent need to tackle problems in a number of other areas of public health, COVID-19 remained a major threat. COVID cases are now rising quite rapidly from quite a high base, and this is driven by a number of different factors, of which BA2, the new Omicron variant, is a large part. Rates are high and rising in virtually all parts of England. The continuing rise in patients testing positive for COVID, up to 26% week on week in the southwest and 20% in the southeast, is another sign of the growing prevalence of the virus across the country. The total number of people in hospitals with COVID in England stands at 13,060, the highest figure since 31st January this year.
A house in Katugastota, Manikkumburawatta, has been completely destroyed over a fire this morning. Police said 3 people who were in the house have died following the incident. The fire had broken out around 6:30 this morning. The 72-year-old father, 30-year-old daughter and a 32-year-old visitor who were in the house have died in the accident. The mother is undergoing treatment at the intensive care unit of the Kandy General Hospital. The municipal fire brigade and people in the area have tried to douse the fire. The cause of the fire is not yet clear. Katugastota police are conducting further investigations.
A conference on political rights of differently abled persons took place recently. A discussion took place on the obstacles to cast votes and finding solutions to the problems. A group of people, including officials of Sri Lanka Elections Commission, the International Organization for Election Affairs, social activists and journalists attended the function.
The 8-storied Boralla National Ayurveda Teaching Hospital ward was vested with the people today. 1,906 million rupees have been spent on this complex. It has been done under the project to modernize the hospital system. The hospital is developed under 3 stages, in which the first phase was completed in 2001. A 5-storied building was vested with the people under the first phase. The wards complex, which was built to provide residential facilities for 360 patients under the second phase, was also completed. It can provide residential facilities for all undergraduates following Ayurveda and Unani degrees at the Colombo University. Minister Keheliya Rambukwella, State Minister Sisira Jayakodi and a group of people attended the function.
And we bring you more local news updates. A meeting took place between Minister Ramesh Pathirana and High Commission of Malaysia for Sri Lanka and Maldives Tang Yang Thai at the Ministry of Plantations yesterday. The High Commissioner recalled the long-standing relations between Sri Lanka and Malaysia and expressed views on further strengthening the friendship between the two countries. He commended the COVID eradication program of Sri Lanka. Special attention was paid on further strengthening economic relations between the two countries. Samprasada 2022 State Short Film Festival Award ceremony took place yesterday at Tarangani Theatre of the National Film Corporation. Awards were presented under several categories including Best Direction, Best Screenplay, Best Actor and Actress, Best Camera Direction and Editing. The ceremony was held under the patronage of State Minister Vidura Vikramanayaka. It has been organized by the Department of Cultural Affairs. A program to educate women police officers in connection with the International Women's Day took place in Aluthgama recently. The aim is to create a social background for the women to live in dignity, eliminating harassment. A group of people including State Minister P.L. Nishantha and Senior DIG Ajit Rona attended the event. The island-wide program series is sponsored by Dialogue Asiata.
Rataki, Belki, Lubaki, Air, Saribaya, Dialogue.
The Paddy Marketing Board has purchased 6 million kilograms of paddy from the Vaunia district by yesterday. The paddy purchasing is taking place at 5 centres. The government is giving 90 rupees for a kilogram of Nadu paddy for farmers. A kilogram of Samba paddy is purchased for 92 rupees. A kilogram of Kiri Samba paddy is purchased for 95 rupees and the farmers are given 2 rupees for each paddy kilogram for transport.
බුද්ධිමත් ඇගේ තීරණය ප්‍රීමා ස්ටෙලා අපි හැමෝම කැමති.
And in foreign news, North Korea has tested a banned intercontinental ballistic missile for the first time since 2017, South Korea and Japan say. Japanese officials estimated it flew 1,100 kilometers. The missile fell in Japanese waters after flying for more than an hour. An intercontinental ballistic missile can travel thousands of kilometers on a standard trajectory and could theoretically reach the US. North Korea has launched a flurry missile of tests in recent weeks. The US and South Korea have said some of those tests, which Pyongyang claimed were satellite launches, were actually trials of parts of an intercontinental ballistic missile system. Today's missile appeared to be newer and more powerful than the one North Korea fired 5 years ago, reaching an altitude of more than 6,000 kilometers, according to Japanese officials. And in your sports news tonight, it's quite the season of basketball, and the Avon Super Cup 2022 basketball tournament took place today as well at the Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium, and the Army beat Moratuwa under Group A. And Tilna, we have more update on this story.
Absolutely, Kazuni. Now in sports news, the Army team led the first half of the match 21-36. But however, in the second half, there was a stiff competition to score goals and Army won the match 87-50. Army beat Moratuwa under Group A of the Avon Super Cup 2022 basketball tournament. The match was played at the Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium in Colombo. The Army team led the first half. The match between Colombo Bulls and Colombo BC was played at the Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium. And although Colombo BC led 45-40 in the first half, Colombo Bulls won the match by scoring 84-74. The women's match on the Group A took place between Trackmasters and Blues. Trackmasters won the match 55-44. 3 matches were played yesterday under Group B at the basketball court of Royal College, the first match of which was played between Contenders and the Josephians women's team. Contenders won the match 44-39. Another match was played under Group B between Bullets and OABW teams. Bullets won the match 62-48. The match between Wagons and Meridians took place at Royal College Indoor Courts. Wagons won the match 72-50. Well, that wraps up tonight's edition of the Rupavahini English News. Join us once again tomorrow at the very same time. Until then, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great night.
Good night.